This video is sponsored by HelloFresh. I have a lot of handhelds, way too many, like way more than any normal individual should have. And today, I'm going to show them off to you, just like I did in late 2021 with my first handheld collection video. I've got some fantastic new additions from that video, but I'm also going to go over every other handheld I had in that one because I don't want to send viewers back to the mask and glasses phase. If you are watching during that phase, I am so sorry. But hey, before we do that, let's get in a message from our sponsor, HelloFresh. HelloFresh is your one-stop shop for all of your meals. Say goodbye to the trips to the grocery store because HelloFresh sends you pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes right to your door. And yes, of course the ingredients are fresh. It's in the name. HelloFresh makes home cooking fun, easy, and affordable, and that's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Hey, I get it. You had a New Year's resolution to eat better, and you absolutely failed. It's February, and your last meal was a bowl of ice cream. I've been there. With HelloFresh, getting that New Year's resolution back on track is stress-free and delicious. With over 35 weekly recipes, they've got pretty much anything you're looking for. You've got the Calorie Smart and the Carb Smart recipes, and you can even customize select meals by swapping your proteins or sides, upgrading your proteins, or adding protein to a veggie dish. We love protein. Now I know what you're thinking. Man, HelloFresh sounds great. I wonder if Hades but YouTube has a special link that'll get me free shipping and an exclusive discount. Boy, have I got some great news for you. You can click the link in the description for a special limited time discount and free shipping when you try HelloFresh today. Now, onto the handhelds. So as we all know, Nintendo is the major player in the handheld gaming space, which is a shame because it's Nintendo. I've got a fair few handhelds from Nintendo, ranging all the way from the first gen original DS right up to the current gen Switch and Switch Lite. So I'm gonna go through every single one. I'll start with the original DS. Obviously, it's pretty old. It's like older than me. I didn't have it at release. I was lucky enough to have a relative who just didn't use theirs and was able to gift it to me when I told them about my collection, which is really cool. Thanks, Nan. By the looks of the barely visible pre-owned label on the back, it doesn't look like they had it since launch either. I mean, releasing in 2004, it's still in perfect working order. It has some major cosmetic damage, but you could still load in your R4 card and play whatever games you wanted. It works great, and it still feels great to hold. Keeping the DS train going, we've got the Nintendo DS Lite. I've had this one since I was very little. Been at least 2011 at the very latest that I've owned this thing. I've obviously modded it. I've added a shell swap mod from Extreme Weight, the transparent shell. It was fairly straightforward and long, but you know, I got through it. Unfortunately, both of the wireless antennas and the power button are just completely broken. And the volume slider is also broken, which I discovered last night. But apart from that, it's still in great working order. You know, you can get a toothpick in the power switch and turn that shit on. It still works. This one is one of my favorites, the Nintendo DSi, or the cooler cousin to the DS Lite. I bought this one from a kid in my class for like $20, which is great considering the eBay pricing of the time and even now, even with the dodgy shoulder buttons that barely work half the time. Looking back in hindsight, the money I spent probably went to a vape or meth. I can't tell. I'm not going to make assumptions, even though I just did. If you're watching this video by chance, thank you for selling me this DSi. Skipping over the OG 3DS because I don't have one, we can go straight to the 3DS XL. This was my daily driver for years, mainly because I got it when I was like 9, I believe. I have no idea when I got most of these. When having the latest and greatest was much better than the yucky old DS Lite. Gross, disgusting. I do really like how the system feels to hold in my hand, but it's just not fast enough for daily use anymore, especially when you've loaded custom firmware onto it, which is pretty much necessary for any 3DS system these days. I also find it really annoying how loud the hinges are on this system. It makes it really hard to play at night or in a quiet environment. Now we're onto the systems with the worst naming scheme ever created, but also some of the favorite Nintendo systems in my collection. The new Nintendo 3DS is usually one of the first handhelds I'll pick up if I'm going somewhere with friends or if I'm going on a trip. The system is in fantastic working order. I've put a 128GB micro SD card in there, loaded with custom firmware, the Luma 3DS. It's Luma 3DS, I think. At some point though, I do need to replace the battery. It is absolutely horrendous. It'll get through about 6 hours, but like that's only in sleep mode, which like the DS is supposed to last like more than 6 hours in sleep mode. Even when it's completely turned off, the battery is draining like crazy. That old original DS, haven't charged it in 6 months and it still turns on. If I did that to the new 3DS, it would be like so dead the red light wouldn't even come on to tell me it's dead. The new Nintendo 2DS XL was the last system ever created in the Nintendo DS lines of systems. And did it end on a good note. The 2DS XL is one of my favorite systems, and would probably be a daily driver if it wasn't an XL system. If they had made just the 2DS XL, not XL, I probably wouldn't own the new 3DS or new 2DS XL. The design on the 2DS XL is great. I love the color schemes on both the default models, like the blue and black and the orange and white, and then all the cool limited edition ones and the regional exclusives. I think there's like a Japanese exclusive black and green one, which looks so cool. I was able to get my one refurbished from EB Games, which I don't know if you guys even have that in the US and Canada, I forgot. For a great price compared to eBay and other market pricing. I even bought two to get my sister one as a birthday gift. She mostly plays Nintendogs. Unlike the DS line, I've already got most of the systems in the Nintendo Switch line, seeing as there were only 3 of them as compared to... I lost count. Starting with the classic Nintendo Switch. My model has a few issues, seeing as this wasn't one I bought for a collection. This was, again, my daily driver for a long time. A lot of these were my daily driver until I bought a new one. It's very rare that I'll buy a handheld and not use it daily for at least a week. It's still in pretty good working order, but it's just mainly cosmetic things, and one of my Joy-Cons is kind of messed up, so... Like many other models, the kickstand has fallen off mine. It became loose. I lost it. I've got no idea where it is. It's currently, it's standing up against the wall over there because there's no kickstand. The side rail on the right Joy-Con is also completely broken. I can't use it for, single Joy-Con multiplayer with the shoulder buttons if I need those. And, I can't pair it with anything that isn't a Switch with Joy-Con rails. I can't pair it with my Switch Lite, can't pair it with my PC or Mac. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get an unpatched Switch. If I'd bought mine a few months earlier, I probably would have been able to. Or if I got a refurbished model when I was at the EB Games again, I probably would have been able to get an unpatched Switch, which means that would have probably gotten a lot more use out of me. But, it's what it is. To this day, I'm still constantly checking the Switch Hacksing subreddit to just maybe see if there's a glimpse of hope at a Switch exploit that is only in software. I haven't updated my Switch Lite or my normal Switch in at least 2 months, so we're hoping. Okay, now we're on to the Nintendo Switch Lite, and this is honestly my favorite system in the Switch line of system. Its size makes it very easy to throw in a bag or my pocket when we go on a trip or even just to the store. I don't use it that much anymore, just like the normal Switch, but I would probably use it a lot more if you could mod the thing without soldering a mod chip, although I would love to try that one day. If it wasn't for Nintendo being Nintendo, this would probably be my overall favorite system and the one I used the most. I still really like it though. I've only got one Sony handheld, that being the PSP 1000. I bought this at a local collector's convention for about 80 bucks, and hey, it came with a fair bit. It came with a carrying case, a cleaning cloth, charger, and a not-for-resale copy of Lemmings. Don't worry, before you do it, I've already emailed Sony. The guy is already under arrest for selling a non-resale copy of Lemmings. I've also got custom firmware on that system. You'll find that's a running theme throughout this video. I've got 32 gigs of storage added on a micro SD card in that little memory card to SD card adapter thing. Apart from the buttons being a bit prone to sticking down, it's in great working order and just needs a replacement for those membranes to be absolutely flawless. Alright, now we're into the niche stuff, starting with the Powkiddy Q90. This was the first handheld I ordered from one of those niche brands that you'll never hear about ever unless you're in this community or know someone in this community. The only reason I specify if you know someone is because my friends have definitely heard of Powkiddy and no, they don't want to. I really love the size and the form factor of the device, but the power and the hardware inside is just not enough for my use cases anymore. At some point, I would love to order the V90 as well for that clamshell form factor, but I'm happy with this one for now. For now. Now onto the Anbernic devices, and we'll start with the RG351P because that's the only one I have. This was actually the third niche handheld I ordered, but it was the second I ever got because the second one I ever ordered was a Retroid device. I love the user interface and the power of this device. As always with Anbernic devices, the controls and the just build quality feels great and on par with something from Nintendo. Although the chipset that this device runs on was very overused and it's pretty outdated by now. If you have collected retro handhelds before, you almost certainly have an RK3326 chipset device in your house. I don't have any other Anbernic devices as of right now, as I mentioned earlier, but I would love to buy the RG35XX. It seems like a great deal at about $90 for what it can play, Australian dollars. So, I'd love to pick one of those up. Now onto the Retroid devices, and we'll start with the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus. I made a quick reference to this one in the RG351P section, and I got it at least a month after that device arrived, at the earliest. This was my daily driver for a long time. I didn't really feel a need to purchase any other handhelds during my ownership period of the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus. I think I bought the I only used the PSP for about a week, because why would I use that when I could have all my Android games and all my SNES games and all my, my PSP games in the one little Retroid thing as opposed to having my PSP. It's hitting me right now that what I said was stupid. However, I hope that you get my point. The point I was trying to make. I don't think I actually bought any other handhelds for true daily use up until the Retroid Pocket 3. And now I'll talk about the Retroid Pocket 3. This is one of the purchases I have regretted the most. It is the most regretful purchase I've ever made in my handheld collection, and I'll tell you why. I could have waited like 2 months and gotten the 3 Plus. It was like 2 months, it was like 20 bucks. I could have easily gotten the 3 Plus. I couldn't even get a review out before the announcement of that device. Even knowing though that the 3 Plus exists, the 3 is still one of my favorite handhelds in my collection. Having the power of the Retroid Pocket 2 Plus, which is still pretty good, with the widescreen form factor is great. It makes it great for widescreen hacks and cloud gaming and just like modern Android games. I do feel that if I were to buy another Android device, it wouldn't be the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, it'd probably be something in the Odin line. But I still highly recommend Retroid's products, provided you get a good one. If you win the Retroid lottery and get a good device, I highly recommend them. And now we're at the end and we've got the biggest, most expensive and best handheld out of all of them yet, the Valve Steam Deck. This is one of my favorites. It's my absolute favorite handheld out of all of the collection. It's the one I've been using the most recently, and it's great. I love my Steam Deck. Obviously, it's not my daily driver just because of the sheer size of the thing, but it's the one I use the most. The Steam Deck is the only other handheld I mentioned wanting in that other handheld video. Yeah, I specifically said by the next handheld collection video I wanted to own a Valve Steam Deck, and I did it. It took a lot of work to get to me though. Originally, I planned on making a US Steam account and then using a parcel forwarder to get it to me, and I did make the US Steam account, but then the Australia Post parcel forwarding thing shut down, and I didn't really trust any of the other ones, so I just kind of held out. And besides, I needed to upgrade from that Alienware laptop to a desktop because the Alienware laptop started itself. After a while, I ended up just buying a Steam Deck from a reseller on eBay, and you're gonna love me for this. I spent 1,068 Australian dollars, including postage and handling, for the 64GB model. I realized that I overpaid a lot. However, I still love this thing. That is honestly what I valued the Steam Deck at, so I was more than happy to pay that much. It is one of my favorite handhelds of all time, and it makes every single dollar worth it. And I seriously can't imagine buying it for any cheaper. I cannot imagine that they're able to hit $400 US, which is like 700 Australian here. It is insane. At some point, I want to make my review for it, but you know, school's been picking up and I've been pretty busy, so don't get your hopes up. Anyway, thanks for watching me ramble on about my poor financial decisions for like 20 minutes. I won't promise another video next year, but I might if I have a couple more devices in the chamber. Remember to subscribe, feel free to follow me on any of my other social media platforms, all of which are linked in the description. And hey, if you're looking for something to do, or more specifically something to cook, check out HelloFresh using my link in the description. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.